All right, Chris. So you're wearing a unique set of sneakers. Tell me about them.
Well, they're Nikes, but they're kind of a retro yet contemporary.
It's a combination. It's like the Air
Yeah.
Max with the retro top.
It's kind of a retro running top,
Mm-hmm.
which is ironic because I don't avoid anything like I avoid running. But then they've also got like this Air Max sole, so they're super comfy, but they're still kind of like a running shoe. But the color combo was nice.
Yeah. No, they look good.
I'm kind of a shoe guy. I like my shoes.
Well, I want to talk about your upcoming business,
Yeah.
Twisted
Yeah.
Sugar. What?
Breaking ground, I think today. I saw yesterday on site they mobilized all the big equipment. So we'll start moving dirt,
Mm-hmm.
earthwork, as it's called in the biz. We'll start moving dirt and start leveling the site and grading the site and getting ready to pour a slab and underground plumbing and everything will start going in. So yeah, you'll start seeing movement over there.
Avenue B and 20th
Avenue
Street.
B and 20th Street, over there across the street from Dairy Queen, will be the new building that will house Twisted Sugar, uh, which is dirty sodas and cookies and things. I think we're providing cookies tonight for the Chamber of Commerce event.
Yeah.
So it was fun when we purchased the franchise. We got access to the recipes. So we've been making them at home, obviously before our big commercial kitchens open. We've been playing with them at home, and yeah, they're delicious. So it's going to be great to
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
bring them out tonight for that event. It'll have a drive-through, and so they're cookies. It's kind of a mashup of a soda shop. You'd mentioned your guilty pleasure was dirty sodas.
Yeah.
So that's those are kind of the feature drinks there. So you have all these mix-ins and purees and fruits and creams and different things to kind of doctor up your soda.
What's your favorite cookie?
My favorite cookie is the Twisted Sugar signature cookie.
Okay.
So it's a sugar cookie with a coconut frosting
Yeah.
and then a little wedge of key lime. And so then you squeeze that lime all over the cookie. And so there's a little, I add just a little bit of salt to the top of that too. But the coconut and the lime, it's
Like
just, it's so good.
like the sea salt type.
Yeah,
Like,
just kind of like a flaky salt or
okay.
something. I like salty foods, um, but yeah, so that's my favorite. I think tonight we're doing the signature Twisted Sugar cookie. We're doing a brand new one that they just released for November, which is a pumpkin and chocolate chip cookie and a chocolate crinkle cookie.
What's the crinkle?
The crinkle's kind of it's chocolate chocolate dough, and then it's
Oh,
rolled
I was
into a
thinking
ball and
pumpkin
covered
dough
in-
with like chocolate.
The pumpkin one is like pumpkin dough with chocolate chips in it.
Okay, yeah. All
The
right.
chocolate crinkle is a chocolate dough that's rolled in powdered sugar, and then as it cooks, it kind of like crackles and
Yeah.
cracks. And I think you've had that one at girls' camp. We use that one.
Yeah,
A
that
lot of
was-
people really like that.
That was delicious.
It gets your chocolate fix.
It's a little darker chocolate, right?
Yeah. The cookie's super dark.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's but it's fun. There's I think 40 something cookie recipes, and so then there'll be like monthly feature cookies and different things. But then it's also the sodas. So it's just a great, treat stop.
And are there going to be any fruit drinks?
Yeah, so they do. We do what's called twisters, which are fruit smoothies and things. There's some protein, different smoothies. So it kind of has a whole range of drink options there. But really, the sodas, because the sodas have probably 1,000 different combinations of
Yeah.
what you can put in your soda. And then the cookies are obviously
So
big
tell me more about the fruit smoothies. Like how into the smoothie Because that itself is its own business. I didn't realize there
Yeah,
were going to
so
be
it's
fruit smoothies there.
yeah, so it's real fruit. It can be a smoothie with ice cream, or it can be a smoothie with just kind of ice. So it's kind of like a slush, like a fruit slush.
So it's a full-on dessert place. I was thinking just more cookies and soda, but like this is actually
No,
quite the
it's
spread.
yeah, exactly. So you can get, on a hot summer day, you can go and get like a fruit milkshake kind of thing.
Yeah, that's one of my
Yeah.
favorite things to get is a slushie with ice cream in it.
Yep. So that's the twister.
Okay.
What you're going to want. And so again, all different flavors, all different kinds. What drew us to Twisted Sugar, because we tried all the different cookie
Crumbles.
crumble, sippin', fizz. Swig is the big one. So Swig was purchased by Larry H. Miller in Utah, and then he just dumped a ton of money into it, and they've just been exploding everywhere. But they're more kind of focused on just the sodas.
Yeah.
They don't really have the cookie element. So what we liked about Twisted Sugar was combining the cookie focus with the soda, and kind of put those together into a single brand. And then we just tried them all. We tried all the different cookies, and the Twisted Sugar cookies were just the best. So, Crumble does a really good job of packaging and presenting, and it looks fun and stuff. But the cookies they're fine. They're good. The Twisted Sugar cookies really sell themselves. I mean, when you try them, you really like them.
Oh, I'm not a big cookie connoisseur. If I eat something that's really sweet, then I can only eat one. I get the stomach ache pretty quick. But
It's
no,
unfortunate for you.
it is.
You're never going to get to look like me eating like that, Shawn. Come on.
Well, I'm gonna do my best.
Okay.
And no, but I've had those, and they're good. And I don't know if it's the difference of the ingredients, if the ones that I'm eating are packed full of preservatives, that's making me feel a little like I got a rock in my stomach or what. But no, they are very good. But the question I wanted to ask is, what is your biggest concern about the whole logistics of putting this business together? Obviously, you want to have demand, and I don't get it as far as how things work in Yuma with what gets super popular and what fails. There'll be that one restaurant that's built in a back alley that you cannot get enough of, and you're shipping their product off to New York with dry ice. And then there's the other restaurants that are on the corner of Main Street with a perfect little boutique front, and they go out of business every year.
Do well.
Yeah. So what is your concern?
I've opened a few businesses in Yuma, and one of the biggest obstacles is price point. Yuma is not, so Yuma's not.
I think so, because
you would think
with Starbucks and
you would think.
Dutch Brothers, it seems like the more they charge their coffee, the bigger the line gets.
Yeah, right. You would think that. So with coffee and things, there's kind of a following and an addiction. The smaller coffee shops probably have a harder time at it, charging those prices. The nice thing, one of the other things that we think is going to make Twisted Sugar successful is that price point is not exorbitant. So you can come out of there with a cookie and a soda for under $5.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So the price point is actually really great.
You're just going to focus on volume?
You focus on volume and then margins. These cookies are made from scratch. They're not, frozen balls that are shipped to us or anything like that.
Which would make your margins thinner because you got to have a lot of
Well,
labor.
you can buy in bulk. We do have a baker. The cookie process, the nice thing about the cookie process is kind of the base recipe for some of these cookies is kind of consistent through maybe like 12 different varieties of the cookie. And then all it changes is kind of the frosting or the topping, or maybe you mix some chocolate chips or peanut butter chips into this one or that one. So that starts to level out your expenses. So, all the cookies start with kind of the basic.
So you can bulk up with the basic ingredients, and whatever gets popular, then
and you
it's
can
not gonna let the other ones that are unpopular sit
and
on
so
the
we have
shelf.
kind of the full size cookie, and then we also have like a scaled down version that's a little bit less, and then they're always running promotions and things like that. But yeah, it's not. It's less expensive than Starbucks. It's less expensive than Dutch Bros.
How do you plan on advertising it?
So we're getting social media is obviously king. Word of mouth is great. Since we put up the sign, we've received multiple calls every day.
Really?
Yeah, it's been exciting. People people asking for when we're going to start hiring. People asking, what is it? Because there isn't one here. So, what is this? It was funny when we were hanging the sign. My wife and I were hanging the sign, and a couple young men were walking down that street, and they kind of walked up and stopped and were watching us, and we're there with a ladder and hanging this thing, and they're like, Twisted Sugar, what is that? We're like, oh. So we're explaining it to them, and the website's on there, and we're like, yeah, you can go to the website and check it out. So they're standing there with us, looking at their phone, pulling up the Twisted Sugar website, twistedsugar.com, and kind of scrolling through and like, oh, you're going to have this? Yep, we're going to have all that. That's on the website, So
How big is the seating area going to be? Are they going to, could it be a teenage hangout?
Yeah, so the whole idea is to kind of create this kind of soda shop experience, and kind of build on, people's desire to kind of hang out a little bit. That's why the location worked so well for us. There's 2 elementary schools, a junior high right there. The high schools are close. So we're hoping that's the case. So we've designed the inside to accommodate a few tables and chairs, and then a larger outdoor patio space so you can kind of sit and enjoy. But a lot of the sales will likely come through the drive-through. People are busy, quick, running to and fro. So picking up a soda on the way to, watch your kids' soccer practice or game or whatever will kind of become kind of a regular thing, I think, for a lot of people. So, but price point's important. Quality. It's got to have, people want what they see in bigger cities. So when I was designing the building, I didn't go easy on it.
You didn't scrimp?
No. I mean, we wanted to elevate the look of the building itself and kind of pick up on some of the newer, more contemporary architecture that's happening in other places. So as people move to Yuma, as Yuma grows, they're coming from places that have kind of a little bit more elevated style, and they have an expectation. And so when they see that, they'll, number one, be intrigued. What is that? That looks different. Let's check it out.
Yeah, you've got that soft cloth. They've done a really good job with that drive-through car wash. They've got all the vacuums, and it looks like something you would see in Phoenix or San Diego.
Yeah.
They did a real good job. In fact, anytime I'm at that end of town, I always make a special trip to that car wash because it gets your car cleaner. I don't know if it's just my perception because it looks newer,
maybe,
but
it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I feel like I'm getting a better deal as I go through that car wash. You're going to be right next to that, so you're kind of reviving that corner because it started to die down a little bit.
Yeah, that corner has been vacant for as long as I can remember. And then Pat Connor developed the property and cut it into lots and put in infrastructure to support new buildings. And so we actually have the Twisted Sugar building.
He's not the one that owns Soft Cloth, is
yes.
he? Oh, okay. So it's the same guy. Okay.
Yeah. So we have our building going up, which will be, a new, bright and shiny, attractive looking building. Right on the corner in our office on the boards right now, we're designing the new Asian Star that'll go up in the corner there. It'll also have a lease suite with it, but the owners wanted to also go kind of really contemporary.
So is it another? There's an Asian Star on the
same
big
owners.
Curve. Okay.
So this will be to Asian Star what like Pei Wei is to like PF Chang. So this will be kind of a Panda Express style menu. Okay. So quick, on the go, smaller.
But authentic scratch.
Oh yeah. The
ingredients.
The Chens do a great job. We've met with them several times. They keep bringing us lunch.
Oh really?
Which we love. But yeah, their food's all, made from scratch, and, everybody in the kitchen is their people. So it's all really good. And they're trying, they're a younger couple. So I think the same thing. They're trying to bring Yuma, let's improve Yuma. Yuma needs, a little hand holding into contemporary times. Not everything is just a stucco box with a Spanish tile gabled roof. And
it's a good thing I'm not the architect, because that's what it would be.
Yeah.
the continuation.
Yeah. Well, I was having a discussion with a client the other day, and they were asking about, well, what about expense and those kinds of things? And, certainly to do a building that has more interest doesn't necessarily need to cost significantly more. Good design adds value to a building because it draws, if you're trying to find tenants want to be in kind of a building that draws attention to their business, that's interesting. So if you can do an interesting design and still do it on budget, why wouldn't you? So kind of the default is just give me the plans, let me get it built, and then my business will be just great in there. And that's fine. There's plenty of businesses that thrive in less than attractive accommodations.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's some that thrive in just like a closet, basically. You're driving to this place, and if you blink, you're going to miss it.
Right.
But people just really go after it. And then there's others that, like I say, are on very busy corners, and they have all the signage, and they even have maybe the franchise behind them, but they can't seem to keep it going. And I don't understand that. For example, that Burger King on the corner of 24th Street and Avenue. What is that? 4th Avenue.
24th and 4th, the Burger King. That's now a liquor store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why couldn't that thrive?
I don't know. I think a lot of that was access related. I think because you have to go past it on 24th and come in through the back, unless you're coming north on 4th Avenue to make a right into the Burger King. If you're coming...
So if you would have got that building for a good price, you wouldn't have taken it just because of its location. Even though, to me, passing by, it seems like the more traffic that sees it would be...
Well, perfect example, right next door is Chili Pepper.
Yeah.
Now. That was originally, I think, a Popeyes. Probably
it must have been a long time ago, because it's gone through like 3 or 4 pretty good, I think, well-established restaurants.
And one of the reasons for that was access. It's not easy to get in and out of there. So it takes a business like Chili Pepper that's successful, that has a following, that people will make that difficult access. And it's funny how just the smallest inconvenience will dramatically affect whether or not people will visit a place.
Interesting.
Is there parking? Oh, I don't like the parking there. Let's not go there. Or is there access? Or, when you get in there, it's tough to get out and stuff like that. And working with the Chili Pepper group, the family on different projects, they've expressed that made the building accessible to them. That made the building attractive to them because Chili Pepper could go anywhere.
Yeah.
Chili Pepper could go in a Connex box out in the middle of the lemon grove, and people would line up to buy Chili Pepper. So they had that. So that building really, really worked for them.
Yeah. Speaking of, do you know Tyler Woodman?
Mm-mm.
So Tyler Woodman is a friend of mine and real good guy, real hard worker. And I guess he grew up tending groves. I think specifically lemon, probably orange and other type of farm, citrus orchards. And he opened up the lemon grove.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
okay.
It's on the corner of 40th Street and
we were just there this weekend.
And 5E. Okay. So that has exploded. And that's why it blows my mind, because there is no franchise. There is no huge marketing, campaign behind it. But parking was becoming a big problem. I was driving down 40th Street. There'd be 10, 15 cars parked along a canal.
And then you risk your life skipping across the
going
street.
Across the road, right? Because it's like 50 mile an hour, speed limit there. So he's done a real good job, and he's implemented parking.
Yeah. Have you been there since they remodeled?
I haven't been inside, but I looked at the Facebook page or Instagram, and it looks real nice. I drive by almost every day and kind of look around and see what they've done with the parking. What they do is really cool because they take things that are just generic and everyday, like Connex boxes and pallets, and they make them look just rustic and authentic and attractive. I love it.
The design,
The repurposing of it and
Yeah.
the way they do it, it looks amazing. And I've heard nothing but good things. I've eaten the food from there, the fruits and things like that, and very good.
Yeah, we were just there this weekend to check out kind of the new digs because it just reopened a few weeks ago. But they've done a great job. And the reason something like that's kind of off in literally the middle of nowhere and can be successful is the experience. People want that experience. We can go to the grocery store and buy all the same things.
Yeah.
Right? But the grocery store experience is a totally different experience than going to Lemon Grove. And then on top of that, you add, hey, it's local stuff. I want to support local.
Yeah.
It's got just kind of like just a real farmer's market feel to it that I think really appeals to people. It's a change and a break from the common everyday thing. And you can go over there, and they've now got big lawn area, and I think they do yoga classes there. And
Really?
So, yeah. And before that, I think they were on one of their slabs. They were doing pickleball, and so they're just kind of creating an experience. And so your customer's experience starts from their car right when they drive into the property. And so parking across the street against the canal and then having to risk your life crossing, with semis going by, wasn't conducive to a good customer experience. Once they got in, people were like, oh, this is great. I'm going to get some bread and some fruit, and I need some artichokes and all these things. And, oh, it's all grown locally. Awesome. And I'm willing to pay more for that, because it's not, the lowest price. You want the lowest price, you'll go to the grocery store, but you're buying as part of that cost, you're buying that experience. And I think that's really important in architectural design. Recognizing that the experience starts as soon as you get out of your car, as soon as you drive into the site, that starts. So if you only invest in the interior of your space, only people that come inside have any kind of experience with it. If you can draw people in by inviting them to experience something different through the architecture, through the design, it expands your net to be able to catch customers.
And I think that there's been a cultural shift maybe in the later generations where when we grew up, the customer was always right. And so you go in and there's this persona that's put on that they're looking, what can I get you? And, this happy face, but that's not the person that as soon as they, clock out, that's their personality. And that's what we grew up expecting. And now we live on social media. And so we're living in this digital world that's not real, that when we see authenticity, we crave it. And Tyler is authentic to the bone, to the fault, right? You go and you talk to him, and every word that's coming out of his mouth is what he really thinks.
Right.
And you may not agree with it, but there's a level of respect there that you don't get offended by it because he's not saying it to offend you. He's just saying what he thinks
Right.
and how he takes it. And people, I think, are craving real world experiences again.
Right. Well, and when you go there, you know that he's passionate about the project.
Oh, he wouldn't do this if
Why would
he
you?
wasn't. Yeah.
Why would you? So he's passionate about it. He's trying to create something. And it's awesome when people take something that was just, it's always been a working lemon grove. And I know they do olives too and do their own oil and all that kind of stuff. But sure, and they could probably sell at some of the local farmers markets and things like that. But I just think it's great that they said, no, I want to do something more.
Yeah.
I want it to be more. And there isn't enough of that, in my opinion, in today's world. It's flyby, it's fast pace, give it to me quick. I got to get out of here. I'm on to my next thing. The whole hustle bro attitude is really exhausting. It's really exhausting. And so when you have somebody that says, hold on a second, I'm going to slow you down. I'm going to take my time. You're going to appreciate the product more because it's better. There's more involved in producing it. You can see the groves where the lemons grew. So when you pick up your bag of lemons, you're not just grabbing a bag of lemons. You're experiencing a little bit of what Tyler experiences in bagging those lemons. You can walk along the grove and see those lines and lines and rows, and there'll be lemons on the ground, just kind of rolling around, and you're like, oh, well, there's product there, that's just on the ground, and just you get a sense of what it took to get to this bag of lemons.
Yeah.
And that just has value. It has inherent value. So you'll pay more for the lemons because you're like, wow, you gave me this experience, and maybe I'll pick up some bread and I'll pick up some cheese. And we bought pasta noodles. They're made by these local ladies that make pasta here in town while we were there, and cooked it on Sunday. And, you just feel a little more connected to your community when you go and you see Tyler. When I go to 4th Avenue Gym and I see Justin, and he's there and he's greeting people, or when I go to Juliana's and Chef Eddie's there and he's greeting people at his restaurant, that's community. That builds an experience that makes you feel part of something versus, just the nameless, what do you want? Here you go. It's cheap. Yeah, it's cheap. So if your whole goal is cheap, don't go to places like that. But if your goal is, I want a good experience, I want to enjoy it, I want to be a part of it, then those are the places that I think people gravitate to. And in a world where everything's online, everything's, Uber Eats, DoorDash, I can have it in a second, totally disconnected from the outside. It just, I think it gets exhausting. I think we're going to see a swing back. And so people like Tyler are banking on that we're going to see a swing back to where people want to go pick the fruit, get the fruit, and pay a little bit more for the fruit, but they get an experience with it. And so at Twisted Sugar, we want to go, you can see all the cookies, they're made from scratch. The baker will be back there, covered in flour, so it's going to be, it's part of an experience.
Are you going to participate in baking?
I'll probably give it a shot, but baking's so tough. Baking's an art.
Yeah. Rachel, your wife, is a good baker.
She's a good baker.
Is she going to be baking?
Probably at first we're all going to get kind of trained, but we'll hire a baker that'll come in and bake all those cookies every day. So, and then
have you found that person yet?
We have a few people that we're targeting.
Okay.
Yeah. So, we're obviously not ready to hire yet. And then and that's one of the reasons we didn't just start this thing from scratch. We wanted to buy a franchise. So they'll come down, they'll train us, they'll train our staff. They have all these processes in place that work, that are proven. No need to reinvent that.
What's your next big business idea? Or I want to actually stop. Nix that. I want to rewind. You've done several businesses in town. Tell me about some of them that were successes or failures, and what you do different, or what you were surprised at how it turned out.
It's been really fun to see the Treehouse Kids Club grow. So that's a business that Edna and I started with our friends Bobby and Sabre Lemon, and that just literally came out of a need from my wife, who needed to go clothes shopping, but we had 2 little girls at home and I'm at work. So it made it difficult for her to just have a few hours during the day. We didn't want to really necessarily put the kids in daycare. So we thought, wouldn't it be cool if there was a place where you could a daycare, but it's drop in, so I just need an hour. I need to go to a doctor's appointment. I need to go get some shopping done. I need to, run some errands. So I only need an hour, 2 hours. It was a maximum of 4 hours to drop the kids off. They're safe. They're taken care of. They have a good time, but mom can go and get stuff done. So we thought about that for a while. We looked into it. We looked into the licensing and decided, let's do this. I think this could be a business here. And
That had to be a tremendous amount of work. And I know that you're
lot of
really
work.
busy with all your architectural projects.
Yeah.
You can never, be on top and ahead of schedule.
Well, it's a team effort. It's a team effort. So in that case, Edna took the lead, and then
Okay.
and then when Sabra came on board, we had that help, and so I've married very driven women, and Rachel too does not like to just sit. She's always trying to be productive and accomplish things and do things. And
I've worked with Rachel, and I cannot keep up.
yeah, you've worked in the kitchen with her.
Yeah,
so
I have to take a nap every 4 hours.
Yeah.
And come back, and she's
Oh yeah.
ready.
Our
for
biggest thing on
next
Saturdays is, listen, I need a little bit of time, to do something. But yeah, because she's got projects and she's got things that need to get done.
So
and
how
look what
did
I
the treehouse
today.
do, or is that too sensitive of a question?
No, the treehouse did great. It was rough waters to navigate because it's a brand new business type in Yuma. Pricing
It
structure.
looked cool. You could. That was one of those things that I could see where the attractive design and architecture behind it. You could see the tree from inside.
Colors, and we had a tree inside, and we had, the kids walk in and instantly it's a place they want to go. There's climbing things and all those, but predicting, it's hard to staff something like that because you need to have a certain amount of staff per number of children. And when it's a drop-in thing, it took a while, at least the whole first year to really dial in, okay, these are our busy times. So you may be paying people to be there and there's only 1 or 2 kids that get dropped in. And then all of a sudden you've got 16 kids.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, we need to call some people in, because we got to, we still got to have the correct number of adults here. So that was a struggle to figure that out because there's no formula for that. We knew weekend nights, probably busy. People want date night, so that we'd have movie nights and different events to get people to come. And then the price point, that's why I say that's the one I learned pretty quick, that Yuma has a pretty low tolerance.
Really?
For price point.
Okay.
So I think it was when we opened, it was like $5 an hour or something like that. And then once we realized, but you've got to staff it, you've got to have food, you've got to pay the bills, you got to pay the rent, you got to do all these things. It was a guess. It was an absolute guess as to what it would be. And so then I think at 6 months in or 8 months in, we raised the price to like $650. And there was backlash,
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, okay. So then we started saying, okay, well, maybe if we offer more for the experience, then people will understand the price. I learned the same thing when we did Barbudo Bros Tacos.
Yeah.
So another business that I did with some friends, it's not even a business. It was a hobby that we wanted just to pay for itself, is we really liked to cook.
Food truck.
Yeah, let's do a taco truck. And some friends of mine and I got together and said, well, let's do this. It'll be fun. We can get out and we can enter some of these taco festivals because they look like a good time. We go to them. Let's be the guys at the grill. That'd be fun. Meet people and chat with people and then serve them up these delicious tacos, which we won one year, by the way. So, but
which
the
is
tacos,
saying something for a bunch of white guys to enter into this culture and the demographics.
Our really good friend Alonzo Acosta was with us too, so he gave us kind of the Mexican street cred element of it. He was working the grill, and then I kind of came up with the recipe, and then Bobby was really, he worked all the magic with the grill and the setup and the trailer and what's the most efficient way to move this from A to B to C and then off onto the plate and all that. And Jeff was there, kind of the same. He was our health director. He was making sure everything was sanitary all the way through. And so the four of us working together, we got it down pretty well. But I remember when we had originally started and it was like $1 a taco or $1.50 a taco or something. And then suddenly we had to raise it to like $2. And it was amazing the pushback.
Really?
50 cents. Yeah, and now go to any taco shop in town. They're $4, $3.50, $4, $4.50.
Yeah. the prices of everything have skyrocketed.
Yeah.
I see things that boats, for example, that are at prices that you used to buy a house for, and people are still buying them. Trucks, for over $100,000 truck, you see commonly on the road.
Yeah.
And so that's what I don't understand when you say the price point. I guess
Certain things.
it is certain things. And when I get on Amazon, I'll find myself in that same trap. I'll find myself searching for a half an hour between two products that are
separated by like
couple bucks.
$4.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. You're reading the reviews.
Yeah,
and
which one? Do I really want to spend $19 or is this $15
Yeah, exactly.
one?
So it's on certain things, obviously. We like all the comforts. We like the new phone and the truck to get us to work. It's got the massaging seats and adaptive cruise and all these cool things.
Yeah, like a 4-wheel drive.
It's
up
more
here,
on kind of the disposable things like food. Let's run out and get a burger. Let's run out and get a taco. Yuma still wants that to be cheap. So the way you can elevate the price is by elevating the experience. It's more than just walking up to a counter, getting your food, and sitting down in a folding chair at a playtime folding table and eating your taco. It may be the greatest taco in the world, but you want that taco cheap. Now, if that whole experience comes with maybe some live music and some decor and, hey, this is cool, look at this, and they're playing a cornhole over there. So now all of a sudden there's an experience attached to it. And so they're like, $6 for the taco? Sure, I'll do that because I'm going to be over here tossing this beanbag around. So I think that's the key in elevating the price point, is offering more than just the taco or the cookie or the soda. Come in, it's decorated cool. It's kind of there's an ambiance to it.
Yeah.
The landscaping's cared for, the driveway's clean and nice, and I don't feel like my car is going to get damaged sitting in a dirt lot somewhere. So, that's kind of what is happening. And so that's the Lemon Grove, they could have just kept going like they were going. I'm sure they were turning product and making money, but they said, let's offer more. Let's have more of an experience. And it's great. We were there last weekend, and it was a good experience.
The tree house, was it something that you learned from and had to pour money into, and then ultimately it was just an education, or did you actually turn a profit while you owned it?
We did. It did make money.
Okay, it did.
It
So
did.
You weren't
But it was
in the
a
red.
lot of work. So we weighed as the girls got older.
You get paid like 25 cents an hour of your time.
No. So as the girls got older, it became a lot of work. And so then my wife and Sabre were realizing, we're working really hard to take care of other people's kids, and you have to be there in a business like that. You can't leave it to the employees because you've got the care of people's children.
Yeah.
So it just became a lot of time. So even though it was making money, we started weighing, is it worth the effort that we're putting in? So then we were approached by a family friend who was thinking of getting out of teaching in schools and wanted to open her own school. So the drop-in daycare model could then shift and expand into a school. Kids can go to daycare, preschool, pre-K, kind of an education element to it. We were not interested in expanding those services, but she was. And so she made us an offer for the business, and we sold to her, and they've since bought a school and are running it. And so the treehouse exists and grows. And
what is it, 24th Street? Right across from
Virginia and 24th Street. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's great. They've got classrooms and teachers and a curriculum and all these things. And so now they still have the drop-in component with it, but now they also have this educational daycare experience.
Has it changed hands multiple times?
Nope.
Oh, just once.
No. So Marsa and Dave purchased it from us and ran with it. And they've grown it into this, this cool, thriving business. And so that's cool to see. It wasn't what we wanted to do and to continue to put effort into, but it's cool to drive by and, that's the logo that I designed. And, I remember sitting down with Edna and going, what do you think of this logo? And, all of those things are still there. They're still intact.
Yeah.
So that original kind of spirit of a fun, vibrant place are still there. And now it's just grown and bigger. So that's cool to see. It's cool to see when you have something that has an impact on a community.
Yeah, you've got your fingerprint.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I love about what I do as an architect is you get to have an impact on people's experience during their life here in Yuma. Mm-hmm. And that's fun to see when somebody goes into a building and they recognize it, or hey, they mention it, or the business owner says, hey, yeah, things have been great. The building performs well, cooling and heating and all these things do well. That's satisfying. That's fun. I enjoy what I do because I feel like it has an impact. And then the other thing it does is it affords me the ability to help others in my community. We Thompson Design Architects sponsors a lot of donations and support and things for different nonprofits in town.
Yeah.
And I love that. I think it's cool.
And as nice as that is, it's just a drop in the bucket to the actual contribution, because when you think about it, the employees that you hire, the contractors that you hired to build it, the employees that you hired to run it, that money is getting generated time and time again. Yeah. And that's the real contribution to society. Not even just the improvement of the actual service itself. Right. There being a place to bring your children, but there being a place for people to work and provide the care for children and others, individuals to go and see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our business here, we employ, and it ebbs and flows, but it's usually around 12 to 13 people.
Okay. And
so what we intend to do is make it a place where they can make it a career if they want to. And a lot of our employees come here and they learn quite a bit, and they find out, wow, I didn't enjoy school maybe, but I do enjoy learning when it's something that I can see actually makes an impact that helps improve the quality of somebody's experience. Now, in our case, it's disability and death, which is a very the most difficult experience that people are going to go through. But if you can help make that go as smooth as possible, and they're leaving in tears, but they're happy tears sometimes because they've got this big burden lifted off their shoulders, and they're like, I actually contributed into a fairly complex area of society and helped them feel better about what's going on, and made sure that they could see there was a light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. And I can do this in other areas. And so some people have moved on to public administration. Others have moved on to nursing. And when they do that, we don't hold a grudge. In fact, I write glowing letters of recommendation for those that are qualified to move up and move on. And that makes me feel like I've accomplished something in life, right? That is my success story, to help contribute back to society. Now, I make a wonderful living, and I'm able to go home and provide for my family. But the fact that 12 other families are not only being provided for, but they're leaving work with a sense of, I've accomplished something. I'm not just getting a paycheck to buy groceries, to eat, to come back to work again. I've accomplished something that has contributed to the humanity.
Yeah, it's awesome to be part of something that's real, and when you can provide. So, for example, I'll have a client come to me and say, hey, I'm thinking of, I currently work in a law firm, and I'm thinking of starting my own business, and I need a building to do that. And so that's really fun to sit down with somebody and say, okay, what's your dream environment that you want to, have success in this business in? And we provide that. We take kind of their ideas and we put them into a napkin sketch, and then eventually goes into construction drawings, and it's eventually built, and then they can do it inside of this space that they helped create. That's really cool when you take a dirt lot and turn it into a place where business occurs, or somebody's growing their dream. I don't want it to sound cheesy, but it's really rewarding to help people achieve that or see that through. We work with a lot of doctors, and so, they want their practice to be, the building is designed for their workflow and their practice. And I was just talking to a client the other day that I haven't, we did a project for probably 15 years ago, and they're thinking of doing another one. But then they've learned things along the way. And here's what I want to, on this one, I want to do this different. And we love this. This really worked out great, so we want this to continue. And it's just fun to work with people. And I think that's, again, we're going back to kind of that idea of an experience where you get connected to somebody. That's really what I love about what I do, is you actually get connected with people and their business.
Yeah. And when people love where they work, then they're happier.
Yeah.
And they are going to provide more of themselves. They're going to actually have more to provide because they're inspired, they're relaxed,
Right.
they enjoy the process instead of, I'm here to make money.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm providing the service that I promised you, then you can't complain. Well, you can, because we all get that sense of what the person is feeling. And if they're depressed to be there, then it's depressing to talk with them, to interact with them, even if they do provide the medical service or legal service or food service that they provide. The ambiance is more than just, I would say, the roof and the walls. It's how the person feels in their space. And I love where I work, and we put a lot of effort into being here.
Right.
And when I get in the car, I'm not dreading in the least to come here.
Right.
And when I'm meeting with my clients, I'm happy to see them in front of me. I am actually more satisfied with a client that I've done planning for, and a spouse has passed away, and I meet with them that their planning has worked, and there's no more fees. I just go over what they've done, and we verify that everything is in order, and get up, give a hug or a handshake, and they walk out, and I haven't earned $1 from that interaction. They paid for it in advance, and they walk out. That is what I take home with me.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the generation of the plan initially is where I make my money, and that's how I feed my family. But the satisfaction of it, that's when I see the plan work, and that's what keeps me coming back.
Yeah, I was just listening the other day to a guy that's was a podcast, and he was saying to really be happy in this life, you shouldn't sacrifice your current happiness to achieve some proposed future happiness. You have to enjoy what you're doing now.
Yeah.
And to be happy. Now, there's a lot of people that do what they do now and they're unhappy, and they're doing it just for a paycheck.
Most, I would say.
Most people are doing that. And that's not a good place to be. So
And I think that's probably why we're wealthier than we ever have been in human history. We have conveniences that kings and emperors didn't have 200 years ago, but we are grumpy.
Yeah. Are we truly happier with all those things? And that's why, I bring up the hustle bros and the people that are constantly digging and trying for more and more and more and more and more. At some point, you have to decide, am I happy? Am I happy, busting my butt 60 hours a week to maybe I need to think about what makes me happy and maybe pursue that. And that's what you're talking about. So when you have employees that are here and this isn't exactly what they want to do, but you can help guide them into doing something that they'll actually enjoy doing. I really enjoyed my time here, but I really enjoy taking care of people. I want to be a nurse, then go do it.
Right.
Go do that, and so much of our decisions are made on the paycheck, the commute, just this perceived fake version of success where if you're running around 100 miles an hour, you're successful.
Right.
I don't think so. I think you need to do quality things that benefit other people. That's why service is so important. That's why service is so helpful. I have a friend who's celebrating today 60 days of sobriety. And one of the things that they really find fulfillment in is serving others, and that's a big part of the AA program is serving others. And so when you can serve others and make a living doing that, well, I think you're going to be happier than somebody who's just working and grinding to do that. And it takes some adjustments. It takes some adjustments in how you expect to live, because what makes you happy might not make you the most money.
Right.
And so everybody constantly has to weigh that. Is it worth it? I could do this job. It's going to make me a lot more money, but now I have to commute an hour to do it. So that's an hour each way. That's 2 hours a day that I'm not spending with my family, doing the things I enjoy, playing ball, helping my kids do this or that, working around that. The things that I enjoy, is that worth it? And you have to ask yourself. And that's why it's so disappointing to see people just chase a dollar instead of chasing happiness, because they're not the same thing.
To get back to what you were talking about with the individual that said, it doesn't matter how much money you're making, it's not going to necessarily make you happier. I don't know if I'm paraphrasing it correctly, but to my point, there was a statement that I heard, and I don't know who to attribute it to, but it was a very wealthy person, and he had, I think, hundreds of millions of dollars. He could have been a billionaire, and he said, I would give it all to have the health and the body and potential that I had as a 25-year-old. Mm-hmm. And so what does that mean? It means the money isn't what produces the happiness.
Right.
But he didn't understand that as a 25-year-old when he had it, right?
Yeah.
Basically, as a 25-year-old, he had what a billionaire wants.
Yeah.
And now let's apply that to us. We have what anybody that's older than us and has more money than us wants. Are we appreciating it?
Right.
And are we actually taking advantage of it? Or are we sacrificing it for that dollar that would be gladly exchanged for the youth and vibrance that we have now?
Yeah. When I have that, I'll be happy.
Yes.
When I have that, I'll be happy. Now I'm not saying that people who do really tough jobs and grind it out can't have happiness.
Not at all.
Not at all. And we need those things. A community needs those.
I'm happiest when I'm working hardest.
Correct. But it should be something that you feel some sense of contribution and reward to those around you. And it's hard to think of a job that's selfish like that, but kind of those mundane, just take this person out, insert this person, and the job just continues and it doesn't change. Those aren't happy people, and it's tough. And, we just had that election yesterday in New York where you had a lot of unhappy people choosing their mayor.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of unhappy people that are making decisions in their 20s thinking that when I have that, I'll be happy. And this guy's going to give me that. So I'm voting for him.
Yeah.
Never mind that you've just now become enslaved to a system that will now control and dictate your progress. And I predict that you will still not be happy.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
Are the citizens of California happier now than they were 20 years ago, 30 years ago?
Yeah. So we have more than we've ever had. As a society, we have more wealth, more convenience. Even the poorest among us has a phone and a TV.
And a flushing toilet.
And a flushing toilet, indoor plumbing. We've had more than we've ever had, and I would submit that it hasn't made us any happier, than we were when we wished we'd had this or wished we'd had that. So much is in, our entire life is the journey.
Yeah.
We never really arrive until you arrive at the grave. So you need to find ways to enjoy getting there. And the argument could be made that people like you and me say these things because we don't have maybe some of those struggles. But I guarantee you we did.
Yeah.
There was a time where I remember $6 in my checking account, and I remember wondering, how in the world am I going to make it to 3 days from now? That was real for me. And that was very legitimate worry about, am I going to lose it all? Mm-hmm. Am I going to be able to pay my mortgage? Am I going to be able to pay my commitments? I employ 4 people. Am I going to be able to pay them? That's worry. That's burden. That's not happy, but you learn from that. And then it affects your decisions going forward. Okay, now I don't have those worries anymore, but I learned from those worries that I also can't take everything and dump it into a house I can't afford or a car I can't afford or those kinds of things, and make decisions that are going to put me back in that situation of burden that I don't want to be in. And unfortunately, I think we live in a world right now where there's so many unhappy people, and they don't know who to blame, and they don't know where to go, and they don't know how to make it better. And then somebody comes along and says, well, I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
It's the plot of The Music Man. This is nothing new.
Yeah.
You guys have a problem that you can't fix. Let me fix it. I'll fix it for you. And we say, okay, go for it. And
tell me that. That's not something that rings a bell for me.
The Music Man?
Yeah.
Wow.
Tell me that.
You're so uncultured, Shawn.
I know I am.
So The Music Man, he goes into this town, and I remember it loosely. He goes into this town and he convinces them that what they need is a band, and what they need is music in their lives. And I'm probably butchering this because it's been so long, but the underlying theme of it is kind of this guy that sells them a solution to a problem that they don't really have.
Mm-hmm.
And it really only benefits him. And of course the townspeople get wise to it, and then, chaos ensues, because people figure it out. But, to come in and say, your problem is you don't have enough free things. Your problem is groceries aren't cheap enough for you. I'm going to fix it. Let me fix it. And rather than it's not going to work. It's not, history's proven that approach will not work. Mm-hmm. And those people will continue to be unhappy. And the only person that truly cares about your happiness is you. Nobody else cares. And I think if you know that, and if you know that politician or that trusted mentor
or salesperson at the car dealership or whatever,
if you truly understand that they are really only concerned with their own happiness, and that's just human nature, mm-hmm. Then you can approach situations differently. You can approach it with the perspective of, let's make an educated decision here, because I understand that person's true goal is not my happiness. That person's true goal is their happiness. Why? Because that's my goal. My goal is my own happiness. I want to be happy. I want to, pursue that, make that happen. And sure, you care about your children. You want your children to be happy, but you also, there comes a point where you have to realize they have to make their own happiness.
And
you can't provide it for them always.
You can see it firsthand that the more that you give them, the less happy,
the more damage it does.
They are.
The less happy they are.
And it's so interesting because I read to my kids each night a chapter book, and one of my favorites is like Old Yeller, or Where the Red Fern Grows.
Golly, you're making them so sad. Those are all sad books.
Well, but the thing about it is these boys and these books, they've got nothing, right? And what they want more than anything is a dog, right? That's what they
Right.
want more than anything.
When I have a dog,
Is
I'll
a
be
dog, and truly they take care of that dog, and that dog becomes their friend, and they go and they have these adventures with this dog. And today, you want a dog, you go to the Humane Society, or you go to somebody that's breeding dogs, and you buy a dog, and there you go. But you make that dog your child, and you pamper it, and you do all these things that, no, these dogs, they would be grateful for the scraps that were left over from the deer that was killed or whatever it was. And these kids, for Christmas, they're getting their own tin cup. And that was like a big deal. And they're just elated for that. And my kids are looking at me like, are you making this up? Are you doing this just to like guilt trip us because we got a lot of stuff? I'm like, no, I mean, this is a good story, right? But showing the family unity and how much they appreciated,
Right.
how hard their parents worked to give them the essentials in life. Whereas now parents give them everything and beyond, and the kids, think, my mom is not that great. My dad is, always withholding stuff or taking my toys away from me. And instead of, your parents would give their lives for you, but they don't appreciate that. And in these situations where they could see their parents working for it and literally sacrificing their lives to keep them safe and feed them, then they appreciated that. And I think it all goes to, it's not the stuff that you have, it's the family unity and the relationships that you have that creates that happiness. And we've really kind of tainted that and said, the more that you have, or the more that you give somebody, the more you care about them. And it's not. It's the more of you that you give to the person.
Right. And it's not to say that the only person that cares about your happiness is you. That's not to say that people don't care that you're happy. So that's different. I want my kids to be happy. I want my clients to be happy with the design that we create for them. I want people to be able to afford their groceries and all those things that contribute to their personal happiness. But I can't make that for you. I can't make you be happy. Only you can do that. So that's what I mean by only you can decide to be happy. And if you're contributing to something in society, if you're seeing those people across the desk from you be happy because of something you did, that builds your own happiness. That you share with them in your shared happiness. And that's where there's value. That's where the I love my job comes from. That's where it comes from, is when you can share that happiness with other people. You can't make them be happy, but you can help. You can contribute. You can contribute to an environment that allows them to foster a feeling of happiness and maybe work on their own happiness. You've now created a building where they can apply their profession, and that will in turn help them to be happy. And then the people that they help, it creates them to be happy. But we shouldn't look to others to make us happy. Does that make sense?
Right.
It's on us. It's on us to decide, I don't have that right now, but I can still be happy. When I get this house, then I'll be happy. No, I'm going to decide that in the pursuit of the house, I'm going to be happy.
That's why Legos are so awesome.
Yes.
Nobody sits there at the completed Lego project and goes, oh man, I'm so glad I'm done with that.
I dread when it's done. I drag it out because I'm like, okay, I've got 3 more pages to finish this Lego build.
Yeah.
But I don't want it to end, because that's the fun part.
Yeah.
Is in the building. That's the enjoyable, that's the happiness part. And then
we should write a book about the Lego mentality.
Yeah. I wonder how many people share that. I still do them today. So I'm a grown man, almost 50 years old, sitting at a table on a Sunday afternoon, putting together a Lego set.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I look for them. There's one, that I would enjoy. And yeah, and it's in the journey. It's in that pursuit of the thing where we need to find happiness.
And as parents, we need to help our kids understand that we were building a tree house last year. And I have that human mentality of this is a more efficient way to do it. I could hire a person to do this, or I could buy this pre-made, or I could do that. And I had to keep bringing myself back. My kids are not going to remember the tree house. They're going to remember working with me to build the tree house.
Yeah.
And so it was a constant internal struggle that I had to have. And the tree house is now complete, and it's sitting and collecting dust. And they go out once in a while and hang out in it. But yes, that summer where we built the tree house was super fun.
Yeah.
And I did cut some corners, but next time I do it, when I'm a grandpa.
Hopefully you didn't cut any structural corners. Those are the ones that get you.
Well, let's end this on a lighter note. What is the thing that you hate?
Oh, this week?
Yeah.
They reopened Avenue C, which I'm thrilled about. But then there's a sign saying that this is Avenue C between 24th and 32nd has been closed forever. So we've had to all go around. It's been quite obnoxious. But last night we saw a sign that they're closing it again. So it was a brief intermission of the closure, and then they're going to close it again. But the thing I hate, what is with the red exclamation point in the emails? Do you get these? Like somebody will add like high importance to the email, so they'll add a red exclamation point.
Mm-hmm.
But I have certain people that will do that on every email they send. And at some point, the red exclamation point ceases to mean anything anymore. And I just don't think it's necessary. This goes back to our conversation of tiers of communication and the urgency of the response. Email is way low, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you need an answer right now, you need to call, text. I see those as more priority. So the red exclamation point on the email, I'm just saying it right now, it means nothing to me. I don't read it any sooner. I don't respond to it any sooner.
Yeah, to me, I even look at it as gimmicky. That looks like something that might be spam.
Correct. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe I should just do a filter on my email that anything comes with the red exclamation point gets right to the spam.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
No, probably not. Because there are things that sometimes people need from us urgently.
Yeah.
And we like to know that. But, I get probably 500-600 emails a day. And probably only a third of those are like work related.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest are, if you buy anything, if you look at anything, now all of a sudden you're getting emails the rest of your life.
Yeah.
If I didn't get a birthday discount code from Simms Fishing Products every year, I mean, would I even know it was my birthday? I don't know. So it gets a little monotonous, but the red exclamation point is real. It's aggressive.
Yeah. Use it sparingly. And then maybe it'll regain its importance.
Like if I get an email from somebody that I get emails from constantly, and then I get one with a red exclamation point, I'm like, oh, I need to look at this real quick.
Yeah.
But if they're always sending with a red exclamation point, now it's just tied to them. Like, oh, here's another email from this person that wants a red exclamation point after the subject line.
Yeah, I hear that. And I think capitalization goes along with that too.
All caps?
Yeah. When you put things in all caps, it's like, stop shouting at me. Just calm down. Tell me what you need to tell me. Make it persuasive and short, but you don't need to shout.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. Thanks, Chris.
I'm looking forward. Of problems today.
Yeah, we did. I think the world's going to be happier because of our show.
Hope so.
Yep. I'm really looking forward to Twisted Sugar.
Edit that in post.
Yeah.
No, we are too. We think it's going to be fun. We think it's going to be received well. Talk about bringing happiness into the world. Hey, I'm off to a drudgery style meeting. You know what? I'm going to grab a cookie and a soda.
And bring some to the people you're meeting with.
I'm going to bring some for the people I'm meeting with, and now I'm sharing happiness.
There you go.
That's right.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Shawn.